class. Settle down, settle down. We got a lot to cover in a little bit of time. Thank you. Today I'm going to talk to you about 5 books that we're going to read this semester. The first book is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, written by Ransom Riggs. And we're going to talk about a haunted island, an abandoned house, time that never stops, called a loop. And here's a little exciting part about it. So, who would like to read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs? The next story I have is Swab, a dystopian novel, futuristic, written by Heather Choate. And if you look at Heather right here, her little baby, when she was writing this book, Heather contracted cancer and was, while she was pregnant for this baby. But you can see all is okay, and that she wrote the book. In this book, the cat is garnered by the queen and is turned into a mutant to get other people to kill humans. And her boyfriend is believing that she is not healthy anymore and leaves her, and she tries to prove to him with her brother that she is okay. Again, Swab, a dystopian novel written by Heather Choate. And I'm going to read a part for you. Technology never works. The scar got her hand cinched around my left ankle and squeezed, breaking the bones. A scream ripped out of my throat, adrenaline pumped into my veins, and though my foot now hung limply, I could still use my arms. Using all of my core strength, I twisted out of her hold and lunged for her throat. My nails dug deep into her flesh that grew over the armored chitin plates of her neck, causing clear liquid to stream down her pale green tinted throat. Her red hair whirled like long whips against my face as she spun out of my hold. She was just too fast, pure energy and muscle, like a cheetah or a missile, something beautiful, sleek, and deadly. This is from Swab, a young dystopian novel by Heather Choate. The next book we're going to read Horror High of the Living Dead by Araminta Starr Matthews and Stan Swanton. Araminta Matthews grew up, she calls, a geek. Her mother was a Stephen King addict, had her bedroom decorated like a crypt, and drank tomato juice in a glass that was labeled fresh blood. Again, we have another little trailer of Return of the Living Dead.
Living with a living impaired loved one is not always sunshine and rainbows. It is difficult even at the best of times. Take Mrs. Vanderkamp. Do you find it easy to live with your living impaired loved one? Do you find, for example, that mealtimes are as delightful as they used to be when he was alive? Are you afraid he might try to eat your brains, Mrs. Landry? Have you perhaps caught him nibbling?
a section of this. "Hey," Mr. Collins yelled, his attention focused on the rearview mirror. "You kids, sit down." He didn't even notice as Donnie Finner walked in front of the bus and disappeared beneath its massive front wheels. But Donnie Finner had died. "What the?" Mr. Collins slammed on the brakes, and the busload of high school students grabbed support to keep from tumbling down the aisles. Everyone stared at the creature struggling to unpin himself from beneath the front bus wheel. Several students had whipped out their cell phones and pointed them at the boy. Skin hung in shreds from Donnie Finner's face, and he was covered from head to toe in stomach-churning combination of dirt and dead flesh. How about that one, boys and girls? Ha Ha, Return of the Living Dead by Araminta Starr Matthews. The Mendel Experiment by Susan Kite. Susan Kite is a librarian who has started writing books. And you all remember learning about Mendel's genetic theory? Well, this is what she's basing this book on, in the Mendel Experiment. And Carrie has found out that she is a mutant. Let me read you an excerpt from the Mendel Experiment. Even the air felt dead. Nothing in the room lived except Kareem and the old one, and he was almost dead. "Come here, girl," the dying old man croaked. Kareem didn't move, but something pushed her forward. The wheezing filled her ears. "Remember." "Remember what?" she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. She was shivering now. Goosebumps looked like mountains on the smooth flesh that was protected by the pelt she had. The old one didn't say anything for a long time. "Remember," she began again, trying to coax the old one. "Remember, you are a human. Always, you are a human." It took in shuddering, wheezing gasp. "You are human." The Mendel Experiment by Susan Kite. And our final book is The Girl Who Owned the City. This book was originally written in 1975, a short novel by O.T. Nelson. But I brought it up today for us to read because it's turned into a graphic novel in 2012 by Dan Jolly. It's in the story, all the adults have died of some type of plague, and only children 12 and younger were allowed to live. But they had to forage for everything that they could, and Lisa took over to show everyone that they could work together and survive. Not so bad, right? I guess not. I could teach you to drive, you know. I mean, we should all learn how to. You would have never been driving in another few years, would you? Well, if I'm alive in a few years, huh? I hadn't heard of any kids dying after the epidemic. I mean, I'm 12 now, Lisa. What happens in a year, or not, or two? Am I going to turn into a dust bowl also? Lisa and her brother Todd are trying to get together and save the children of their town. And that, boys and girls, is the end of my book talk. I hope you found that there's something interesting that we've learned in these books of modern fantasy, science fiction, horror, vampires, apocalyptic, all the different genres that we're going to study, and especially the one that has turned into a graphic novel, The Girl Who Owned the City by Dan Jolly and O.T. Nelson. Thanks, guys, and come and check out some books soon.